What the?
Hello, Blueberry. I hope you love the small changes I made around your channel.
Small? Small? I don't have anything blue on or around me anymore. Wait, did you take my clothes off me?
Don't worry about that. What matters now is everything is the objective better color.
Could you have at least renamed the channel to the red?
How dare you think you're worthy of the color red in your name?
Ow, fine, whatever. The only reason I'm not putting a stop to this now is because I got a channel to maintain, and the longer I delay the topic of this video, the lower the watch time will be.
Oh, that's perfectly fine. You do your little thing while I go redo your Discord server. Link in the description. Bye-bye.
So the FNaF movie, am I right? It's crazy to believe that it's been 8 years since the film was originally announced. Now we're only days away from seeing our favorite spooky bear on the big screen. I definitely plan on making a video before and after the movie, so subscribe to know when those drop, plus many more FNaF related content. Those 8 years we waited were pretty long. Look, I love FNaF as much as the next guy. I just can't make that long of a commitment to wait for someone. I guess I'm just gonna have to resort to having a... Yeah, I'm seeing 2 movies. I'm a slut. Who knows, maybe aside from the FNaF inspiration, these movies could turn out to be pretty alright. Let's find out, starting with... The Banana Splits is a live-action comedy show created by Hanna-Barbera. It follows 4 anthropomorphic animals hosting a variety of segments like cartoons, songs, and skits. It wasn't really all that popular, lasting only 2 seasons from 1968 to 1970, and pretty much fell into obscurity for a very long time. I myself don't have many memories of these guys other than listening to their theme song in a sing-along that would air on Boomerang. Since the cancellation of the original show, from time to time they would try to make a comeback like a web series in the 2000s, a reboot in 2008, and the focus of this segment, a movie in 2019. This was very different from other attempts, as this one would take on a new tone compared to the usual kid-friendly, being a straight-up horror by Warner Bros. Going straight to DVD, plus premiering on Sci-Fi Network. Now, the FNaF movie was originally going to be made by Warner Bros., but after creative differences arose, this version was cancelled, with Blumhouse later stepping in to take on the project. There is a rumor that the Banana Splits movie was originally the FNaF movie. It's said that after Warner Bros. Lost the rights to FNaF, they decided to take a rejected script and turn it into a movie based on something they already owned. You could have just not did that. I think the movie's best summarized by this comment under the trailer for the film reading, "This looks like a Robot Chicken sketch someone took too seriously." I might be getting too ahead of myself. I haven't even talked about the movie. Let's fix that. The movie centers around a family celebrating Harley's birthday. His party's gonna take place at a live taping of his favorite show, The Banana Splits. Honestly, the idea of this show being a thing in modern time, let alone a kid wanting to watch this over some guy reacting to the newest Fortnite update, is the most far-fetched part in this movie, and trust me, that is saying a lot. The whole family plus a new friend of Harley's make it to the set, where we see a bunch of people who I'm sure are gonna make it out of this movie okay. But behind the scenes, a newly promoted vice president alerts the producer that he is canceling the show and that this will be the final taping that they do. Whoa! The Banana Split gang were just updated with code that said the show must go on. Oh right, these guys have a creator and... get this, he's British. Hit him with it. Alright, if this movie didn't want the FNaF comparison, did you really have to make it to where it's about a British man having robots that commit murder? I guess it really doesn't matter since he dies later on. Which reminds me, I guess it's time to murder everyone since the show was done. Wait, where's the logic in that? Is it cause their update code was red? Why does anything red have to mean bad? Actually, wait, I hate love red. Is that a new haircut? I love it, like I love you. So anyways, the movie plays out exactly the way you think, with a bunch of people dying while the family tries to survive. It's a pretty standard flick, with characters you find annoying, thus not caring when they die, like this father trying to get a hold of the producer by any means necessary to get his daughter to be a star when she clearly isn't interested. He eventually finds said producer, and the payoff is this.
What you gonna do with all that junk inside your trunk?
Stop! This is what you've been hyping up? Really? Death by fire for you. There are also these live streamers whose characters are like every influencer portrayed in media, also known as annoying and entitled. Oh, don't cut back to me, I'm not saying it's incorrect. Lastly, there's Harley's stepdad, I don't care to look it up, where it's revealed halfway through the movie he's been cheating on his wife. As the movie slowly is about to get to the credits, it seems like this douche was gonna live until he gets the Brian Griffin treatment. This actually leads me into the kills themselves. While everything up to this point has been passable, I feel like the kills are actually pretty good. You know those scenes in horror movies, or really anything in general, where you just want to look away because it's just too much? Yeah, this movie is filled with those moments, like when the producer gets hit with a hammer, the vice president of the networks gets his limbs pulled off, and one of the cast members get a lollipop shoved down their throat. You know, this is the part where you can tell that the characters as a whole left a little impression on me, since I barely even remember the ones that got cool kills, and I could not be bothered to look up their names. Because this is the Banana Splits movie, I couldn't even be bothered to mention the pointless romance they give to the teen. That's as much attention as I'm gonna give, since it's practically the same amount the movie gives. I was kinda wishing one of them would have died by the Banana Splits members. Wait, of course, we have to talk about the main killers themselves! All the members who speak are voiced by Eric Bauza. He plays a majority of the Looney Tune characters today, and his talent definitely shows. I love the silly voices he does. First, we have Fleagle, a dog that's the all-around leader of the group, Drooper, a lion that's the clumsy one, Bingo, a gorilla that's more aggressive than the others, and lastly, Snorky, an elephant who's the only member to not speak and only communicates via horns. He's the most interesting one by default, since earlier in the movie he is shown to be Harley's favorite, so with the power of friendship, is convinced that murdering people isn't all that cool, by his only fan that isn't some guy in his 60s. The costumes for these guys are honestly super well made. I'm a fan of Snorky in terms of his redesign from looking like a mop to, well, an elephant. It is weird though that you have to play along in this movie that these are totally animatronics and not humans inside them. The idea of that brings up a ton of questions like, why are they animatronics? And, you know what, dang, that's pretty much it. Okay, but it was a pretty good question. I'm sure they were doing the best that they could with a small budget and quick development, with the result being humans inside suits moving like robots, while the editing team adds robot sounds. Even if the concept is a big stretch, I will say, I do enjoy Fleagle's design near the end of the movie, so you know, there's that. If you want to expand beyond these characters, we can start talking about the super secret lore character named Hootie. She was going to be the sister to the Banana Split gang, however, she was never complete. But when the guy influencer dude died, yeah, that's what I'll call you. The girl influencer? Alright, screw it. When Guy Influencer dies, Poppy goes mad over the course of the movie, eventually leading her to don the mask of Hootie, becoming the 5th member of the Banana Splits. She actually is the one who kills the creator as shown here. Hang on, wait, there's a human named Stevie that takes part in the show. Is he not the 5th member? What, is he just not part of the team? I mean, I think he was pretty alright. The part where he's drunk and he gets knocked to the floor by Drooper was pretty funny. Still just alright. Honestly, the movie as a whole is alright, but a super fun time if you're watching it with a group of friends, which is what I did. It's not scary in the slightest, more stupid if anything. My friends and I joking around while watching definitely might have made this film a little better for me. Okay, might have been the only reason I even bothered finishing it, but I don't think there's anything wrong with a bad movie that can keep you engaged with how dumb everything is handled to the point where you love it. I'm not exactly at the point where I'd be looking forward to the sequel they teased at the end, where Poppy takes what's left of the animatronics to potentially rebuild. However, wait, what the hell am I talking about? As if this is getting a sequel! This was 4 years ago, and the Banana Splits went back to being kid-friendly as they would appear in that HBO series called Jellystone. Starting to think their attempt in horror didn't work out. There is another movie, so would this be able to win me over in terms of being a genuinely good horror film? Let's find out with... Before I even talk about the movie, I'd like to go over the poster where at the bottom it reads, 2020 isn't over yet, kids. We're at a point where all those events that took place in 2020 happened nearly 4 years ago, which terrifies me. Willy's Wonderland was another straight-to-DVD movie distributed by Screen Media Films. The director, Kevin Lewis, has denied all claims of this being a FNaF-inspired project. Inspiration or not, let's go over this film to see if it can stand on its own. The main character of this movie doesn't have a name besides being listed as Janitor. So for the sake of this, I'll be referring to him as Nicolas Cage, or just Cage. When Nicolas Cage's vehicle breaks down, he is offered a pickup by the town's mechanic. He's able to fix the car for the right price, but Cage has no cash on him. The town's mechanic presents the idea for him to work off his debt. Cage agrees and he's taken to Willy's Wonderland, owned by Doug's Dimmadome, owner of the Dimsdale Dimmadome, where he's offered a deal that if Nicolas Cage cleans up the place by tomorrow, he'll pay for the repair, making his car good as new, or his name isn't Doug's Dimmadome, owner of the Dimsdale Dimmadome. Throughout the night, strange events occur, and I'm not talking about the animatronics. Cage has breaks, I assume, every hour, and he plays the pinball machine while drinking what I can only guess is the bonk shit Scout from TF2 drinks. It would explain these fight scenes. If a film has Nicolas Cage fighting an animatronic Doom style, it's fair to consider the movie an automatic winner. In my opinion, Willy's Wonderland works over the Banana Splits so well because while both are dumb, Willy's Wonderland goes all in on the dumb. An example of this dumbness is when later we get a bit of a backstory by a group of teens who I'll get to later, that Willy's Wonderland has a dark and spooky past where the restaurant was owned by a serial killer with workers that were also killers. They'd dress up and murder as Willy and the gang to kill unsuspecting families during private parties. After multiple missing reports and suspicious smells coming from the establishment, authorities stepped in to take the owner and the workers out. They arrived too late as it's shown they all took part in a satanic ritual that transferred their soul into the bodies of the animatronics. Willy and the gang, now with the souls of the killers, go out murdering people all over town. A deal is made to put a stop to this, in which the townspeople would feed them unsuspecting outsiders, so long as they left their people alone. Nicolas Cage is just another human sacrifice to please Willy and the gang's hunger, but as the movie keeps going, we see that he isn't trapped there with the animatronics. The animatronics are trapped there with him! I'm sorry, that was stupid. Like this movie. Though it is way more interesting and fun than just red code. Ooh, evil! From what I've discussed, that was also a basic summary of the plot, so it becomes pretty clear that this movie lives or dies based on the idea that you'll like Nicolas Cage fighting animatronics. Did I enjoy it? Yeah, I loved it in fact. I'd actually say it was a genuinely good horror film. It wasn't scary or anything, but knows what it is and has fun with it. The only flaw I have with this is really the characters, besides of course my sweet baby prince. I really can't say much for the generic teens whose goal it is to take down Willy's. I know it's a little repetitive for a reviewer to go, "This character does literally nothing," and leave it at that, but trust me when I say that these teens literally do nothing. They are just there to add numbers to the kill count. Not even the main leader, Liv, plays into as much as she gets taken away during the final act. None of them play into destroying Willy's, and while that's actually kind of funny when you think about it, it is still a major flaw of the movie when you just add pointless characters that do nothing. I should also mention the sheriff and the deputy, Lund and Evan. You see, I can actually remember these guys' names because they're interesting, or at least more interesting than the teenagers. Lund is shown in a flashback to take Liv in as a kid when her parents were killed during one of the human sacrifices. It creates a semi-decent dynamic of a daughter wanting to take down what killed her real parents while the foster mom wants to keep her safe, while also not disrupting the deal that was made with Willy. Then there's Evan, who plays a very small role, yet was able to grow on me. He basically gets pushed around the whole movie by Lund, not exactly knowing what's going on, yet not questioning it to keep a job. It seems like near the end when the sheriff and deputy come in to deal with Nicolas Cage by tying him up and Lund ordering Evan to take Liv away, he finally is gonna stand up for himself after knowing about the murders going on, before being murdered himself by one of the animatronics. It actually made me a little sad seeing him go out like that. What about our main lead, Nicolas Cage himself? You either love or hate the fact he doesn't say one word throughout the whole movie. For me, I do find it funny that he doesn't say anything, yet also feel a little robbed that the movie could have been just a little more dumb in a good way because of the added dialogue. I can fully respect what they did with him though. The movie ends with him and Liv driving off as they run off the last killer. If that doesn't make you like him as a character, then this movie isn't for you. I guess I can quickly go over the animatronics themselves since I don't have much to say. There's Willy Weasel. There's Willy Weasel. While I still don't care to look up names since that's too much work for my fingers, it's still better than the banana splits in terms of coming off as actual animatronics, even if it's obvious there's people inside of them. The only exception to that is the one that looks like a fairy who, well, come on, it looks like they ran out of money and could only make the head. They're all still good for what they need to do in the movie, and that's pretty much how I describe the movie as a whole. Everything is good for what it is. It's dumb that goes all the way into the absurdity to create a movie that I enjoyed and can actually find myself watching from time to time. I was going into this video expecting pretty bad movies that were just blatant rip-offs of FNaF. While you can argue that is technically what I got, I still found enjoyment from these, and can safely say that they stand on their own. The Banana Splits movie was something else. I definitely could see myself making out to the Tra-La-La song at some point in my life. Willy's Wonderland was actually unironically good, and I recommend to check it out if you like the idea of animatronics getting beat up for half an hour. Well, that wraps up another episode of the Blue Guy show? I don't know, I never really had an official name for it. Let's give it a pause though, as we all survived another episode.
Well, my work is done here.
What do you mean your work is done? You didn't do anything.
Didn't I?
No! Guys, join the Discord server, link in the description. There was a recent fan art contest hosted by the Red Dude. I'm sure somewhere on the screen I'm showing all the submissions made. The top 3 winners though got Nitro and will be highlighted. First is Names Blaze. Here is an amazing art they did along with their Tumblr. Second, we have Snowy with their amazing art plus their Twitter. Last but not least is Tomato Kitten with their amazing art along with their social media on Instagram. All of these guys will be linked in the description. If you don't give them a follow, then I'll be pretty sad. Please guys, they did so well. Everyone here did. Thanks for watching, and I don't have a catchphrase.